Greetings. I hope that you're doing well. Today I'm going to be talking about clarifying your life purpose. What gets in the way of that? Why you might get stuck. I'm going to be sharing 3 mistakes that I've made over the years and the lessons that I learned from it. And really, the whole purpose is to avoid some of the pitfalls that I have made, and hopefully, it'll um, give you some things to incorporate in the work that you're doing. Because when it comes to life purpose, it's something that I feel like it's a question that everyone asks, right? And yeah, I'm going to be sharing 3 mistakes and then also some solutions that I have used to get me out of those pitfalls. And I'll also be going through a 10-minute guided visualization that's really helped me in the times where I needed to get more clarity. So let's get started. Um, the first thing is I want you to think about how many times you have asked yourself, what is my purpose in life? Like, what do I need to be doing? How many times have you asked yourself? When was the last time you asked yourself that question, right? This happens at different stages of our lives, and there's nothing wrong with asking that question, but it's more so the frustration happens on the back end when you end up confused. You're just like, okay, I still don't know, or I started trying to do this thing, I thought this was it, and this doesn't feel right. And that's usually where the frustration happens. um, Sometimes it's your expectations for the messages or the signs that you receive are misinterpreted, or they're not clear enough, or they're not fast enough, right? So those are ways that they kind of come up. But when it comes to one of the mistakes that I have personally made is asking myself, what should I be doing? What should I be doing? And really, what it really started shifting for me when I changed and reframed that to ask myself, or the universe, whoever you're talking to, right? Whoever you're asking for that, if it's yourself, inner self, higher self, spirit, the ancestors, God, whatever you're into, it doesn't matter who you you know what I'm saying? So that part doesn't matter, right? Whatever that aspect is of who you're like. So when I say yourself or who, just keep that in mind. It's whatever that higher aspect of self or whatever you believe in, just apply that word there. Okay. But the biggest thing is I used to ask, what am I supposed to be doing? That was one of the first mistakes that I made. And sometimes I catch myself doing that. And it's like, nope, nope, you do this instead. Change the question to, what am I not doing? So instead of asking yourself, what should I be doing? What am I not doing? And for an added bonus, throw in there, what am I not doing consistently? And I want you to ask yourself that question right now. Try it right now. Try asking yourself, what am I not doing? What am I not doing that is holding me back or slowing me down from receiving a clearer vision of the direction that I want to take my life? What am I not doing that is keeping me out of alignment with the direction that I want to take in my life? What's keeping me out of alignment of the impact that I want to make in the world, right? So I'm just sharing some examples of like ways you can ask that question, ways that I have asked that question. And when I've done that, even as I'm saying it now, right, the energy is different. How it feels in my body is different. So that's the first thing, if you're asking yourself, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? That was a huge mistake that I made. And when I started asking myself, what am I not doing? What am I not doing consistently? What am I not doing that is holding me back or slowing me down or keeping me out of alignment of my like that of the direction that I'm wanting to take, the direction that I need to take, that's keeping me out, what's keeping me out of alignment. Then I started to really receive some answers or some responses. So what does that even look like? So again, whether you're asking yourself, your inner self, higher self, your ancestors, your spirit team, the angels, the orishas, whoever you're asking, whatever you're calling up to, ask yourself that question and see what comes up. Pay attention to how that feels in your body when you ask, what am I supposed to be doing versus what am I not doing that's keeping me out of alignment? Because here's the thing, when you are asking, what am I supposed to do? It's kind of keeping you in this, there's this unconscious belief in the what am I supposed to do question, because it's keeping you in this belief that your purpose is in the future. Your purpose is something that you're supposed to, like you have to, your purpose is like you have to get there a year from now or 2 years from now. Unconsciously, it's like it's a future-based thing. And really, it's not. Your purpose is actually very present. It's in the present state. So when you ask yourself, what am I not doing? It is unconsciously shifting your perspective to the present. And oftentimes it leads us to the things that we want to avoid. The feelings, the emotions that we want to avoid, because we don't want to be reminded of the things we're not doing. We don't want to be reminded of our inconsistencies. We don't want to be reminded of just some of the basic things that really establish the foundation. And that's the biggest thing there. The foundation that you're building on. If right now, if you wanted to get clarity on your life purpose and that next step, that next level, whatever it is, even if you have some ideas, like you want to go in this direction, but you just need more clarity, you need that next step. It's like, what are you building on? What are you building on? And the things that you're doing now, habits, people that you're surrounding yourself with, sometimes it's the mindset. Sometimes it's like, man, like there's been times where I've asked myself that question, what am I not doing? And I've gotten responses like, oh, you don't believe in yourself enough. Like, ooh, I don't want to feel that. Don't be telling me that. Don't be telling me I don't want to, that I don't believe in myself enough. Like, that doesn't feel good. But that's what I wasn't doing. Or I didn't have enough confidence in what I already had to offer. It's just like, oh, oof. Like you don't believe enough in your own gifts or abilities or like what you can do right now. That's what you're not doing. That don't feel good. And that's another misconception, is like that the things that the things that you're not doing, like you're looking for something to feel good, like in the supposed to be. It's like, oh, okay, do this and do that. It's like, ooh, no, there's stuff that is in the way, in my own belief system, my own thoughts about myself, or the environment that I'm in. So there's sometimes like, oh, it's the people. Like, what am I not doing? You're not focused. Why am I not focused? Because I'm distracted by certain people around me. It's like, oof, that don't feel good. But if it wasn't the truth. So sometimes there's that follow-up question that you might need to ask. If you're going into the what am I not doing, and you receive that response, and then it's like, well, why is that happening? Right? So that's the first thing. And let me know in the comments if you get to that point where, if you ask yourself, what am I not doing? What am I not doing right now? And let me know what comes up for you. What clarity do you get from that? Um, and the lesson that I learned from that is your purpose is not future based. It's like something it needs to be grounded in the present. Now, the second mistake that I made was really believing, like getting stuck in one aspect of my purpose. So as I got more direction, more clarity, then it was like, oh, I have to stay in this. Like it's this permanent fixture in how I show up and how I um, do the work. So by that, I've been coaching for years, and that's something, but that's not all I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not only supposed to be a coach. I'm not only supposed to be a spiritual mentor. I'm not only supposed to be a personal trainer. And these are things that I do now, right? But it was a building effect. So there was a point in my life where the focal point was, okay, my purpose is to really align in a way that I am guiding people through physical fitness and nutrition and health. And that's primarily where I started. And then there got to a point where I started asking myself that question again, like something feels off. I started to feel a bit out of alignment, or there's like something more I'm supposed to be doing. But I really thought that I was in my purpose because I got that clarity before. But it's like, okay, a few years down the road, it's like, that's not enough anymore. It's not enough anymore. This doesn't mean that it's wrong, but it's like now there's something more. And sometimes that something more might be completely different, or maybe it's an add-on to what you're doing. Sometimes it's taking you into a completely different direction. And then you have to look at, okay, and sometimes the guilt or the fear gets in the way of like, oh, well, or sometimes the ego. It's like, well, I already know my purpose. I'm doing it. I'm living it. This feels good. But the mistake I made was believing that your purpose, that my purpose and where I was at in that phase of my life was this permanent thing. And this is the only thing I'm supposed to be doing. That was a huge mistake I made. And it kept me really stuck for a really like long time in this, like I was compartmentalizing things. And really when I started the lesson that I learned and the solution there is realizing that your purpose progresses. Your purpose progresses. It evolves over time as you evolve. Why? Because who you were and what you were fulfilling and what you were doing 3-4 years ago, you've evolved since then. You're different. Your perspective is different. The foundation that you have laid over that time of doing that work, that has built you up for your next level. And so you like as you level up your purpose and how that's supposed to show up, how you're supposed to move through that is going to expand and evolve. So for me, for example, I went from, well, first I can go so far back, right? I was in the military. So I went from like being a really great leader in the military to then going into coaching, personal training, health coaching, personal training, then going into, okay, then did that, really establish myself there. Then going into more of life, wellness, spirituality, that started to take um, play a significant role. So it's like, okay, I've been doing this work. I've been doing this stuff for years. And now I'm being like, now there's something else I need to be doing. But I was just like kind of resisting that. And it was my ego. It was like, okay, wait, I think I know what I'm doing. So, but the thing that you need to just be mindful of is you are different. You've built the foundation. You like now what was the thing you were striving towards is now your baseline. You've set the foundation. You've already got that set. And now it's time to expand and grow and evolve. So just think about that. And you can go back to that question of, well, what am I not doing? What am I not doing that's out of alignment? Like, what are the signs that I'm ignoring? And so just think about that. Ask yourself that. Write this down in your journal, right? And look at, okay, well, if there's something I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm staying in this thing, I'm doing this thing, but I'm only doing that because now this is my comfort zone. And you don't want to be in a comfort zone for too long. You want to transition out of that. Why? Because your life purpose evolves just as you do. Right? Once the thing that you've been building, now that you can kind of do it, and it's not really, it's something that you love to do, but now there's like, it's like, okay, it's fulfilling, but ooh, there's something else. Or why are things, sometimes it shows up as like things aren't going as well as they were. And that's like a sign, like, okay, something is different, something needs to shift. And what is that next level? So you go from what am I doing, what am I not doing consistently, to, what are the, is there something else that I'm missing? So that was the second thing, believing that my purpose is just this permanent thing. So if you're at that point, then it's about, taking yourself out of your comfort zone, even if it's just one step out of that, and getting to that point where just realizing and recognizing that you're at a point of evolution, that you're in a point of transition, and expanding your purpose, right? So your purpose expands, it progresses, it evolves with you as you grow because you change. Now, the third one, whew, so the third mistake I made was like believing that my purpose is something like, is something that is supposed to be something I desire to do, like purpose versus desire. Very different. The things that I desire to do versus like what my purpose is can be very different, because your purpose leads you to your desires, but they aren't, isn't necessarily your desire, if that makes sense. Because it goes back to that, like the work that needs to happen in order for you to obtain that thing that you desire to experience in your life. There are steps to that, and the purpose is in the present. So what are you doing presently that is in alignment or not in alignment with that? And the question I would ask myself is, who do I need to become to be more in alignment with that which I desire? And that led me to getting much more clarity on the path to get there faster, to get there in a more accurate way. Because there's all types of things you desire, but it's like, are you being purposeful about the path to get there? So for example, questions I would get a lot. It's like, oh, okay, I want to be in a relationship, right? You want to be in a relationship. Clients want to be in a relationship. It's like, okay, this is something you desire. What are you doing? What are you not doing? Right? And the things that you're doing, if you're not going out, if you're not meeting people, if you're not doing the thing, you're not being purposeful about the direction that you need to take that leads you to your desires. So purpose is also about being purposeful. What are you doing that's keeping you from receiving and aligning with that desire more accurately? And that doesn't feel good either, because it's like, oh, now I have to like think about the things that I'm doing. I have to be more intentional. You have to be purposeful. You can't get clarity on your life purpose if you're not purposeful. But your purpose is not your desire. Your purpose can align you with your desires. It's not always about, your soul calling. right? Your purpose in life is not always about your soul calling. It's about a choice. You can decide that you want to be financially free. You can decide that you want to be in a loving relationship. You can decide that you want to change careers. You can decide that you want to travel the world. So it's not always about, okay, well, what are the ancestors telling me what are the angels telling me, and just kind of being passive about what you want your life to look like. You can design your life the way that you want, right? So what do you desire, and what are you doing to be purposeful about accurately aligning with that desire? You have to be purposeful, and you have to be like, okay, this is what I want. I don't want to have to work for nobody no more. Or I want to work in a job that gives me more time off, or that like the work environment is really peaceful, or like I want to be able to have a job that allows me to travel. I want to really be in the best shape of my life, or I want to live in a way that gives me more energy and I just feel healthy and energized all the time, right? You can desire that, you can want that. And that's not necessarily, oh, like this is my life purpose, but it's all about aligning yourself in a purposeful way, being purposeful versus, oh, my life purpose is supposed to be something that I desire. And no, I used to make that mistake and it was just leading me in circles. So I hope that was helpful. I want to go into just a short visualization that really helped me during the times where I was feeling stuck or confused. That helped really get me to that point of expanding my vision of what could be, because sometimes we don't even know what's possible. And this visualization helped me do that, helped me get to that point. Okay, oh, this is what's possible for my life. Oof, okay. Because sometimes we're not thinking big enough. We're not thinking big enough. All right, so, and this is something you can do with your eyes closed or with your eyes open. I just want you to draw all of your focus to your heart, to your heart center, your heart energy. You can breathe normally, you can breathe deeply. And I want you to focus on what peace, love, calm, ease, what does that feel like in your heart space? Lean into that. Abundance. As you're focusing on your heart space, find that abundance in that energy center. What does that feel like for you? What do you want to feel every day? In a perfect world, in your perfect life, what would that feel like? Would you feel excited to get up every day? Would you feel safe and secure because you don't have to worry about money? Would you feel beautiful? Would you feel confident? Whatever those things are that you're wanting to feel in that perfect life, whatever that looks like for you, allow that in to your heart space. Fill your heart up with that feeling. And once you do that, allow yourself to experience those feelings in this moment. Feel your whole body. Allow that to expand from your heart center, almost like a giant light, filling from the top to the bottom. Just fill yourself up with that feeling. Once you do that, I want you to imagine. Imagine what is possible for you 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 1 year from now. What could your life look like as you're experiencing these feelings, as you're in the energy of these feelings that you're wanting to experience? What can your life look like? What do you want it to look like? What do you want it to be? If you're unsure, allow the universe, spirit, ancestors, whatever insert word here, allow them to show you what you could be doing that would be most in alignment. Maybe you're unsure of what that looks like, but it's like, okay, like, what does your house look like? You want a house? That's what you want? Okay. Because clarity in your life purpose, remember, it could be something that your purpose isn't your desires, but your purpose can align you with your desires. So maybe to get to the house, there's other things that you're doing. So maybe you have changed careers. Maybe you are really in a comfort zone with the position that you're in at your job. And it's like, okay, you're promoted. Maybe it's time for you to take a different direction. Are you showing up more in the world? Pay attention to what, as you're feeling these feelings, what are you seeing? What are you smelling? What are you wearing? Who's around you? Are you in a different country? Are you in the same state? What do you have the confidence and the drive to do 3 months, 6 months, 1 year from now? What is that? Are you allowing yourself to be more visible? Allow what you are imagining and what you're seeing. Like, imagine you have some type of magnifying glass or a telescope, something where you can adjust the focus. Let the images become crisper, the colors more vibrant. Those sensations, if you're feeling warmth from the sun because you're out traveling, like, allow that to just amplify a bit more. Once you have enhanced the focus of what you are imagining, once you've enhanced the focus of that vision, I want you to ask your future self for some advice, for a word of wisdom that you can take and utilize right now. And write that down. And if you don't receive a word of wisdom or you can't hear anything yet, sometimes it's a feeling. Sometimes it's you smiling back at yourself and it's like, ooh, I feel confident. Oh, I feel like I'm doing this. Sometimes the message that you will receive will come a little bit later. But allow yourself to receive the message from that future version of you and write it down. Once you have received that message, be in gratitude, say thank you. And return back to your heart center. Draw all your focus back to your heart center. And be in gratitude for the feelings and the experience. And then allow yourself to ask the question, what can I do now to continue to experience this feeling? And that's something you can write down and ask yourself, what can I do now to continue to experience this feeling? What can I do today to continue to experience this feeling? What can I do this week, right? So it doesn't have to be, it could be for this month, right? You can adjust that if you want to. Maybe that is doing this every day, doing this visualization every day. Maybe it's journaling every day. Maybe it's going for a walk every day. Whatever that is, to continue to experience this feeling, what can I do now? What can I do today, this week, this month? And then that concludes that visualization. So just sit with that for a moment. Let me know in the comments how that feels for you, what has come up for you. What did you receive from that? What did you see? What wisdom did you receive? Let me know in the comments. And whether no matter when you're watching this, you can do this as many times as you want. This video will be time-stamped, so you can go directly to the visualization after this live stream, of course. But make sure you're writing down what comes up for you, what you feel, and come back to this. Also let me know out of the mistakes that I shared and that's like the solutions and the lessons that I learned from it, which one resonates the most with you right now? Which one was your biggest takeaway, or the thing that really it's time for you to kind of, you're ready to, you're realizing, oh, okay, let me make this tweak on what I'm doing. Try it out. Give yourself some time to process it, and then come back and let me know. It has been a pleasure, and I'll see y'all on the next one.